Hey, RetconRaider here. Today's video is dedicated to the Raiders, the fine folks who help make these videos possible. With special thanks to Revenant, Anerdinwarpaint, Antonio Hernandez, Dragon Matrix 7, Exsellsior, Lima, Nathan Welch Jr., and Valinrook. Thanks for your support, guys. That said, let's get started. And welcome back to Solasta, Crown of the Magister. As we tie up one quick loose end before we get back to the weighty business of saving the world, or at least slightly delaying its inevitable destruction for a short but notable period of time. You'll notice, of course, that we are back in the lava forest. If the pattern holds, this should just be a basic encounter and then fetch quest. But I figure it'll make a nice warm-up before we get on to the more serious encounters. I will say, given that we are apparently coming up on the point of no return, very soon, likely this episode, I have taken care of most of our final upgrades off screen. I cleared out most of our inventory, most of our storage, and used the resulting gold to purchase a few modest upgrades. +2 breastplate on Yvrev, +2 shield on Henrik, and a couple of stat boosts, +2 strength on Henrik and +2 con on Istvan. And then hopefully whatever we find here should help bankroll one last round of upgrades before the vendors pack up and leave town. Okay, so what? Oh, there we go. Let's get a ghost globe going. Past experience has shown that as soon as we touch this thing, enemies will come springing from every shadow. You may proceed. Another headband of intellect, and a dwarven hammer. This looks like a dwarven thrower, but it seems to be protected by some kind of powerful spell, and it is just as though no one is able to wield its magic. Maybe you're just not worthy. Subtle. And a bit of a shame. I think dwarven throwing hammers actually do return to you after you throw them. That would have been perfect for your breath. Also, we're under attack. I'm shocked. Shocked, I tell you. Well, okay, not that shocked. Oh, right. I also neglected to mention, we did finish building the leather armor of survival, which in my eyes is an incremental step up from the leather of flame dancing. This grants a universal +2 to all savings throws, whereas obviously, the leather armor of flame dancing only grants bonuses against fire, which would be situationally useful here. But let's be honest, we're going to wipe the floor with these guys, so I think a universal bonus will be slightly more beneficial to us in the long run. On a similar note, I will also say there was actually an upgrade available for Henrik. I could have purchased +2 dwarven plate, but honestly, I just didn't like the way it looked. The shoulder pads were too garish, it clipped through Henrik's body, and it didn't come with a helmet, and I actually really like the helmet on him. Without it, he looks a lot less heroic. So while the good old +1 plate does net him one less point of armor class, we'll just call that the fashion tax. Anyway, let's go ahead and extinguish our foes. Sir, you want to start us off here?
Of course you've been detected.
Huh. Less damage than I was expecting. But that's fine. Istvan's got this. Yep, with foes this tightly clustered, there's nothing to worry about. Nothing to get all twisted up about. Yeah, there we go.
Not too bad.
Goodness, so I may have slightly overestimated those fire jesters. Though, to be fair, now that I think about it, we did face those things back when we were level 4, I think. We may have become slightly more powerful since then. Like, 20%.
That one didn't even fight back.
Left side's clear. So how'd that work out for you? Istvan's coming up next, so let's go ahead and prep the field for him. We'll whittle the farther guy. Oh, right. Poor guys. And I think we're done here. Hey, you get to live one more turn.
Good kill.
Well, I mean, not that guy, but the other one. Good for him. All right, let's head back to Caer Kiflin. And you know what? We'll do this part off screen too. I think it's pretty well established random encounters are just a speed bump at this point. We'll be right back. And we are back. The trip back to Caer Kiflin was indeed uneventful. We did have a slight speed bump with another Archmage who fared just about as well as that last one did. But that did give us enough loot to afford 2 more stat boosts. +2 dex on Istvan, and +2 con for Henrik. Not too shabby. That said, we are now officially tapped. We're down to our last 1,000 gold, so I think we're just about done with these final upgrades. Let's pop over to the ruins and see what's what. I think we can afford to double time it. I do enjoy this whole world map system. It is a bit on the slow side, but it really sells the whole epic journey thing. It's very Lord of the Rings. Though a more apt description might actually be Storm of Zahir. Man, it has been ages since I played that.
I think this is what the crown's shown me.
So, not one of the gems.
Obviously.
Do you feel anything else?
I'm afraid not.
That's a problem.
Let's go back to the council. We have to tell them.
Intriguing. So why would the crown bring us back here if the gems aren't here? Also, that exit was not previously active. Very intriguing. Well, might as well do some shopping while we're here.
Strike true, friends.
We've still got about a half dozen primed items left, so just looking for some recipes we might be able to use to convert those into something a bit more profitable. Huh, I guess that's it. And let's get that going. Let's go a bit slower this time, just to give Istvan time to finish up with that dagger. Wow, okay. A 3-day trip should have been more than adequate time to get that done. You know, I have heard that some people are reporting that as of the latest patch, the new level cap is 12, which I have not seen myself. Yeah, see, our characters are still listed as being at the level cap at 10. So maybe it's something that only applies to new games. Regardless, I don't think we're having much trouble here, so I'm not going to worry about it. If we do happen to gain more levels, I also will not complain.
Three gems missing?
Perhaps they've been destroyed.
We tested the first one. It can't be done.
They must be magically concealed.
So the crown must remain incomplete?
Maybe the Sorax have the missing gems. After all, they attacked you more than once. They're clearly still after the crown.
If you can't find the gems, why keep the crown out there? It'll just keep attracting the Sorax. The attunement, remember? I'm sorry, senior deputies, but despite the attunement, I believe the crown should be secured. And secured by more than 4 adventurers who spend their nights camped in the Badlands.
We can't do that to them. They have served the council faithfully.
Don't be naive. We are facing a major threat. You understand the meaning of sacrifice, and so should they.
We have searched the Badlands for these gems at our own risk.
We trusted you to keep your word and leave us the crown.
If I may, I think we need more time to consider the situation. More time? How much time? Maybe just give it a night.
I could use the day to consult with my people.
So could I.
Fine then. Anyone against?
Thank you, Lord Danantar. The Legacy Council is now adjourned.
I have a bad feeling about this.
I knew it. They'll take the crown, and never mind what that does to me.
This is wrong.
We could run.
What's the point? We know what's at stake.
They're right about one thing. The Sorax will keep coming after us. After the crown.
We could retrace our steps. Go back to where we found the gems. Perhaps there's a trail we overlooked.
There's nothing anymore. I can't feel another gem anywhere.
Excuse me, senior deputies.
Clear skies, Headland.
I would advise you to avoid the palace residence tonight.
What? Why?
I'm not at liberty to say. Just trust me. You have your lodgings at the Gravekeep's Cask. You should spend the night there.
What kind of advice is that?
Are you really working for the Arcaneum?
Why else would I be here?
This elf is...
What do you think?
Well, it sounds like a warning.
Or a threat.
Can we trust him?
Trust the new Empire.
I have no idea what to do, but I'd like to sleep in a bed tonight.
I miss Carol's beer.
And Merton's sweet talk.
I'd prefer the residence. I like Captain Ironshell kissing me goodnight.
Maybe in your dreams.
Interesting. I think it's safe to say that at least one person on the council has been replaced by Sorax, and this might actually be the event that finally gives us a clue as to just who that is. I haven't really talked about it much, but we actually have a pretty good reputation with almost every faction, the sole exception being the Tower of Knowledge, as is frequently evidenced by Dean Fasik's slightly acrid tone. I suppose we really don't have any reason to distrust the Arcaneum. I mean, we're in good with them. Though, then again, they are obviously tied to the ancient pre-Cataclysm Arcaneum, which itself was built on the back of slaves and oppression, though by dragons, not elves, which I guess does make this new empire a bit different. That said, I think we'll take our chances. This is an opportunity to finally confront some of the Sorax agents face to face, with actual forewarning for once, so let's see where this takes us.
Your rooms are ready.
Fingers crossed. Oh, well that was quick. I was really expecting a cutscene or something. Alright. Now begins the killing, followed by a light salad. Thankfully, Istvan won initiative, and these guys have set themselves up for a perfect area attack. Something which we will, of course, take full advantage of. If we can manage it without friendly fire. He'll be fine. Ooh, that It actually hit him slightly harder than I expected it to. Sorry. Oh boy. That definitely got their attention, though. They really want Istvan. Unfortunately for them, as of his latest dex boost, he's now rocking 23 AC, so good luck with that. But please, do keep clustering yourself up like that.
Yeah! Well done! Yeah!
Hey, there we go. There's those legendary actions. It was actually a halfway decent hit, too. Plus regeneration. I guess we better take that guy out before we mop up the rest of his crew. Ooh. Okay. Fine then, we'll get serious. That's cute. Bought yourself an extra 5 segments there.
Not too bad.
You guys really should have invested a bit more in some up-leveled units. Silly Sorax.
You're still standing.
No idea what that was supposed to do. Not, I suppose, that it will matter in a few seconds. Nope. And just to be sure. Congratulations, you're dead. Enjoy your prize. Ooh, gutsy. You've got to respect these guys for their commitment, if not their actual power levels.
Perfect.
Sorax, right here in our damn room!
We were warned.
Sure spell. How did he know?
His warning might have saved us all, mind you.
He just wants us to think he's a friend.
Too far-fetched.
So what do we do?
We will return to the council and hear what they have to say.
Or we could pay Sure Spell a visit.
Yeah, I think Sir's got the right of it. We'll poke around here for clues, but then I think we need to go have a chat with Sure Spell. I suppose we should also fit some healing in there somewhere. Sorry about that, Henrik. Not bad. That might be enough to net us one more stat book. Ah, right, hit points. Let's grab a quick breather. Good as new. We'll take that. And what the heck, let's go ahead and dump this loot too. See if we can eke out one last upgrade. Because this, I believe, is the official point of no return. Those could come in handy, but how would you actually use them? It's a reaction spell, so I guess you'd have to have them in your utility slot when someone attacked you? Yeah, I'm sure we can do without them. Sadly, not enough for another stat book, so let's go chat up Sure Spell. See if we can get the ball rolling on this second cataclysm. Sounds like fun. Oh, speaking of utility slots. I did end up dumping most of our potions, but let's toss these two over to your breath. For those rare occasions when we need a sentient blender.
Here you are.
Are you surprised?
Not really. I did warn you, after all. I'm glad you were careful.
How did you know?
Call it a hunch.
A grey steaming pile of hunch. Got a bridge to sell too.
Oh, I have friends who gather information. The threat felt credible. I thought it wise to share.
It felt real enough to us too.
You know more than you're telling.
Always. But I'm on your side, and that's all that matters.
Oh, really? Aren't we lucky? So what other pearls of wisdom do you have to share, friend?
Certainly. Always drink wine at the Gravekeep's cask. Their beer is utterly foul.
Seriously? Everyone knows that.
But clearly you're here for business, not small talk.
Very mysterious. So that's it? Nothing else for us?
Clear skies, adventurers.
Guess not.
Just passing by.
That's nice of you.
The running gag about beer might mean something. Probably not, but it certainly can't hurt to check.
Hello, adventure. What can I offer you?
Nope.
We should go.
Arwen?
If you're looking for a sharp blade, I'm your man.
Well, I do appreciate that. Thank you for your assistance. Let's get back to the other group of oh-so-helpful NPCs.
Honourable delegates, please be seated. The Legacy Council is now in session. Chancellor Gorm's daughter has the floor.
Thank you, Protector. Honourable Council members, we at the Guild of Antiquarians have come to an agreement regarding the quest for the gems of the crown of the Magister. We believe that the crown should be secured and therefore surrendered by its current owners in exchange for a generous payment raised by all parties in the Council.
You can't!
You will wait for your turn to speak, Senior Deputy.
We searched the Badlands for these gems, and now you're just taking the crown away from us?
Order!
We are well aware of your reservations, and we understand them. Yet, from what I heard, all parties have agreed that you should comply, for the security of all.
Security? You talk of security? What security? Just last night, Sorax attacked our quarters in the residence.
What?
Sorax? Here in Caer Kiflin?
In the palace?
Order!
Immediate action is needed.
Well, find the damned Sorax then.
Please, my lords.
You! Where are your paladins?
Where are your wizards and their divination spells?
Stop it! None of this is helping. Lord Sunblaze, you're supposed to be neutral here. Someone must introduce a formal request.
Right. Apologies. You're right. Let's vote. Only senior members, please. Those for securing the crown, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Nay.
Nay.
Well, we have a majority.
We'll help you with the attunement issue.
Whoa, wait! Who's gonna take the crown, and where? Well, the most secure location would be the Temple of Aena, of course. The Hearth. Of course! Right here in Caer Kiflin. Neutral ground, of course, but still, the Principality of Masgarth is the center of Solasta.
Do you have a better idea, Dean Fasek?
We have secure locations too. How many high-ranking paladins in your tower, Fasek? More than actual wizards in your school.
Order! Remember the dignity of your positions, my lords. Senior deputies, if you please. The council has spoken.
Well, this has just gone terribly, hasn't it? So we might as well go all in here. I mean, what other bridges are there left for us to burn? We all know there has to be a traitor on the council.
You keep bickering instead of looking for the traitor among you.
This is a grave accusation, Senior Deputy. Thank you, honoured delegates. The council is now in recess.
How could they? It can't end like this.
I can hear it calling.
Senior deputies, please, a word.
Summer! What do you want? Your Chancellor led the charge against us in there.
I'm truly sorry, but I have some information that might interest you.
I doubt it.
It's about the secret cult of Arivad.
What?
I admit, this is second-hand intelligence, but still...
Speak up.
One of my people saw a man with a tattoo.
The letter A?
Yes. He followed the man all day, and to a gathering that night, in a remote village to the south.
What village?
It's called Earcorn. Very small, but you'll find it easily on any local map.
Thank you, Halman.
You're welcome. Someone must take care of these cultists. And the council, well, you know.
Yes, we do.
I'm so sorry.
Why? You didn't betray us.
I understand how they see things, but...
Something's wrong with the council.
The council's still young. Everyone is angling for influence. But squabbling academics are better than clashing armies.
Only Agatine supported us? I mean, beside you?
Why would the new Empire be the only friend we have in there?
Agatine's a moderate, it's true. But the new Empire is subtle. Plans within plans. It's hard to say whether he was following orders or voting his conscience. I wouldn't read too much into his vote, at least for now. It didn't change anything, anyway. But what about you? How are you coping without the crown?
Better than I expected.
Same for me, actually. It almost feels like we still have the crown.
Exactly. We lost its magical power, but the voice is still calling.
Interesting. So the attunement is unaffected by physical separation?
Keep the crown safe, Marshal, will you please?
You have my word.
Interesting. And it does look like they gave us a very generous payout. Though, look at poor Istvan. Huh, what's going on here? Mark of the Crown. Since you've been deprived of the crown, you can't put anything else on your head. It kind of feels like the crown is still here. Probably a side effect of the attunement with its phenomenal magic. Oh, I see. I think that's a pretty clear sign that we will be getting the crown back. It might as well just say, this space reserved. Anyway, we've still got some time left, so let's have a quick peek at Earcorn. I believe that's right next to Potato Eye.
Hey, you!
Not drowning in your beer today, Arwen?
No, wait. They took the crown from you?
How do you know that?
How? You really think I'm just a drunk? The whole principality knows you have that crown. I mean, had.
Yeah, indeed.
Something's not right.
You think we need you to tell us?
I mean something's up. Something big.
What, exactly?
They're here.
Who? The Sorax?
Not them. They're pawns.
You're drunk.
What is wrong with you? Haven't you seen enough? Didn't you see what they can do to people? At first I thought you were just another bunch of brainless council lackeys. But you've seen their ways. In Coperin and plenty other places, I'm sure. The way they get into people's heads. I've watched the people of Caer Kiflin for 10 years. I've felt a change. Slow, subtle. Until now, it's getting stronger, and I can't let them win.
So what? You're ready to become a hero again?
I can still fight.
Are you offering to join us?
You brought back my sword. That blade and I, we've slayed countless abominations down there in the Badlands. You helped me get closure for my lost child. You were at my side when we took down the Remoras. Yes, I'd like to join you.
Yeah, sure. Welcome aboard, Arwen.
Fine. Come with us.
Haha, now you're talking.
Which I suppose now makes Arwen the weakest person in our party. Good for him. On we go. Oh yeah, that's right next door. Earcorn, you've been sent here to investigate a possible group of Erevad cultists. Challenge rating easy. Cool. I think we'll drag our feet a little, make sure we get there in tip-top shape. There we go. Oh, right. You know what? I didn't spend the money the council gave us. I'll take care of that off-screen. Thankfully, I should have some autosaves to fall back on as needed.
This is it? Earcorn.
Look, a farm. And another. High adventure. I love it.
Well, this doesn't exactly feel like the headquarters for a massive invasion.
But it could be hiding a small group of infiltrators. Let us examine the area in search of clues.
What? No tavern? That's suspicious for a start.
That was my line.
You'd better be quiet if you don't want us to be spotted.
I think Merton might still be drunk. I mean, all due respect to, the illustrious Co-Carnage. That said, I will be the first to admit that voice acting is incredibly hard. And I say that, unfortunately, from experience. I did swap out the Great Sword on Henrik. The Warden Blade has less damage potential, but you get the free casting of Spirit Guardians, plus, it keeps his AC at 20, even when he's casting. Maraiki, I think, the goddess of healing. And a bunch of lootable plants. I think some of those plants are actually ones that haven't appeared anywhere else in the game. Ah, here we go.
I have something.
Footprints, huh? Really? It's a village. People live here.
Your villagers have claws.
Sorax?
This is it. Be ready for anything.
Oh, and hi there. Thank goodness we were ready for anything. I have had some people criticize my excessive use of the stealth mechanic, but I'm gonna go out on a limb here and say that this is a situation where it makes sense. Though, once again, to be bluntly honest, the Soracath are not fielding their most impressive troops. Aside from the Shakath and maybe the Abomination, the vast majority of these guys are like level 3 or 4 threats. After some of those really tricky encounters we had back at the lava forest, or the volcano before it, this is really kind of an underwhelming ambush. I think a big part of the problem is that they didn't make enough higher level variants for the Soracath. They keep recycling the ones that we were encountering as far back as level 3. I'm honestly really trying to give these guys a chance. Really, it is funny because I've deliberately gone out of my way to avoid... Hey, sweetheart. To avoid exploiting a lot of the more blatant exploits in Solasta. There's a ton of stuff that you can use to really kind of trivialize the game. And while I do admittedly take advantage of the whole stealth system pretty heavily, I do try to maintain a delicate balancing act, keeping it just challenging enough to be interesting, but while still showing that I kind of know what I'm doing. Sorta.
Can't say I'm surprised.
I will admit, this does make a good chance to try out some oddball abilities.
Truly formidable.
You know, I was really expecting him to be pulled closer, but we knocked him down, so I'll call that a win.
Perhaps if you tried to be loud instead?
Ooh. That's fine. I think we've got a sea invisibility around here somewhere. Hi there. When in doubt, fireball. Well, good for you. I will admit that fear ability is pretty nasty. The Shayna could theoretically be a much more daunting foe, but he just doesn't have a good enough support team to back him up. Especially when they start them scattered out as much as they did here, because even without surprise, it would have taken these guys 2 to 3 rounds just to get to us. And of course he would just tear them apart with range attacks on approach. Ooh, Merton. Very nice. And immediately balanced out with a critical miss. Gotta love the RNG.
You've seen worse.
Oh, did we not? Ah, I see the problem. Istvan accidentally used Arcane Fury instead of Arcane Fury. A common mistake. Ooh. Alright, fun's fun, but let's stop playing with our food. In retrospect, I really should have hit that guy with bees. Gotta remember I can do that. No, death. My only weakness.
Yeah! That's battle!
Apparently Merton does have a bow. I just have no idea how to switch to it. But that's fine. I think we're good. Ha! Yeah.
Nobody has your skills. Bravo! Impressive move, my friend.
That didn't feel like we surprised them.
Because we didn't. This was a trap.
Yep. Carefully set up to kill us. Well, you, I guess.
Harmon Summer?
He said the intelligence wasn't certain.
The antiquarian? He told you about this place?
He's a traitor.
A Saurak in disguise?
Or just one of their agents?
Anyone check him for a tattoo?
There's only one way to know for sure.
Let's go back to Caer Kiflin.
I feel like they might be jumping to conclusions there. But I will admit, it doesn't look good for Summers. Then again, who knows? We've got multiple factions in play. The Arcaneum up to whatever they're doing. The Sorax, of course. Dean Fasik, who appears to be working against us, regardless of whether or not he is also working with the Sorax. Then again, they've presented us with so many obvious enemies that it could easily end up being someone we're overlooking. We haven't heard from the princess in a while, and she was one of the characters that a lot of people were predicting might be a Sorak back when I first started the series. Not to mention, it is her estate that we got ambushed in. But she did make the initial offer in front of the entire council, so anyone on the council could have then used that information against us. So I guess that doesn't actually really make her look more suspicious. Though it does at least add more weight to the idea that one of the council members is, in fact, a Sorak or a Sorak agent. Anyway, we're past time, so let's hit the pause button. I'll roll things back slightly just so I can make sure we grab one last round of upgrades before we get too much farther into the end game. And we will pick up here next time. See you then. Oh, and remember, although I do love playing Solasta, Crown of the Magister, you can find out more about the game by visiting the official website, the official social media feeds, or the official store pages. And if you'd like to help support the channel, then feel free to push the buttons that do the things, or maybe even check out the Patreon. Links are in the description.
Maybe in your dreams.